In this video, I'll be demonstrating about how to plug in an API and set global and user config property file and how to use these property files. So let's begin. I have already plugged in RemoveFile API from JPDB Pluggable project since we know how to plug in any API. For this remove file, I'll be showing you how you can set global and user config property. So in the left navigation, you can see API config props. You can click on that. This is the UI part where will be able to set the global and user config property. So let's begin. So firstly, like what you have to do is you have to remember your package name, okay, through which you uploaded this plugin API. I uploaded my plugin API from JPDB serverless drive v01. So I'll be selecting that. Once you select that, you'll get this text box enabled. You can see like nothing is there in the text box now except this. So from here, what you have to do is you have to set the global property. Now I'll just copy this and paste it over here. This property should always be in the format of JSON. Okay, now how did I know like I needed to set this property? So because in my project I have set this, so I'll explain about this later on, like how do you set in your project all these properties. So I'll just demonstrate like how I'm setting global property through company dashboard. So I'll just click on save. This save button corresponds to this text box is for the global property. So I'm saving it. My global property got successfully saved. Now, once I retrieve my user property, so this text box which you see over here, uh, the text box which has please fill in this field. So this is for the email ID. So you need to enter an email address. So I'm entering this email address. Once you enter your email ID and click outside the text box, you will get the text box below this email ID will get enabled. So here is your, this is for user property, okay? And this was for the global property. I hope this makes sense. And then we'll continue further. So like if suppose I'm just removing this and just removing this. So now suppose if I want my allowed files per request in this to be 2. So I'll just save this. So I got it as 2. Now when I reset this reset button will reload the entire page. So again, when I load it, I got my allowed files per request as 2. Now, if I want to check for another user, how much the property is set. So what I can do is I can just copy it here and I'm pasting my email ID and saving it. So I got this as 1. Why 1? Because if the user property is not set, I will get the same thing as the global property. This applies to anything. Like for example, let's say for example, I have this user, I have this as global property. Okay, so I have so many fields in my global property. But for user property, I have only set it this. Only allowed files per request. So what will happen in this condition is, like, for example, if you're trying to retrieve max upload file size for any user, but max upload file size is not set here. So what it will do is, it will automatically take this property or take this value from the global property and use that. Okay, so I hope this is clear, this point. I'll demonstrate how this is working. So we'll again go back to our old user where I had set the property. Okay, so I got this as 2. We'll go to Talend and check if this is working or not. So firstly, we'll start by user. I'll start by this global one. So in the global one, I have allowed files per request as 1, but here I am sending 2 files. Okay, you can see I'm sending 2 files through Talend API. So what I'll do is I'll just send this. I'll change it to global. Now I'll get an error sending as files per request size was exceeded. Now similarly, I'll try this with the user one. Yeah. When I try, since the user is allowed to send 2 files per request, this should work. Okay. So I'm just sending it here. Okay, I got us 2 files. So this occurs at the runtime. So for example, if I am saving it here as 2 and just saving it, okay, and I'll just create 2 files over here again. So we'll see whether it was working or not. Now when I come back here, I'll just change this to global property. Okay, yeah. So now I have 2 in user also and 2 in global also. So I'll just try to send this. See it is working, but only it is like folder not present. Maybe because the folder is not present. We'll try to see this later. But the thing is, my request got executed because it was not because I allowed my files size to be 2. Okay. Now if again I needed to set it as 1, so I can do that. I can save it again. When it will run, it will take only 1 file. So this is happening at runtime. I hope this is clear. So this was all about how to set global and user configuration property file through company dashboard.